all your school rugby, all in one place. This is NextGenXV.
Alright guys, welcome to NextGen15, and in today's video we're going to be doing our first wrap up of the season. So fantastic school rugby is finally back, and back better than ever, if I do say so myself. Remember, if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to click that subscribe button as well as bell notification, and as soon as new videos are released, you'll be the first to know. So, like I said, back with a bang. There's some outstanding matches and talent on display, and I spent most of the time watching the Monnas Fest. I have tried to catch up on the other games. I've watched bits and pieces, but you know, I'm one man, so it's very hard to keep up with absolutely everything, but I will do my best. It was a fantastic effort by all in terms of the Monument 100th anniversary, the centenary. You know, there's a lot of complaints about DigiTV, but guys, come on, you must remember this was done on very short notice by them. I think it was actually just fantastic work with them that they did, frankly speaking. Now, there is some rust in terms of the play, but you know, 400 days without rugby, guys, definitely to be expected. And I want to know if you guys noticed something while you're watching these games. There was no kicking the ball every 2 minutes, no box kicks every set piece. It was running rugby. It was fantastic to see. And anyone wanting to know why school rugby is the best version of the game just needs to try and watch a senior game and then watch a game like Gym versus Grey College after. The difference is astounding. It's like the quality of play generally and the evenness of the teams is just on another level in school rugby, and it was just absolutely fantastic to see. You know, senior rugby, the structures are very much there. The defensive lines are all there. So it's very much like a game of chess, while, you know, school rugby is just its own type of brand. It's just absolutely fantastic to watch. And you know, the fact that I get to report on this type of thing now and, you know, really be a part of it after, you know, spending quite a bit of time on it, it's just fantastic to see the next generation come through. And I just pray that, you know, we get into a position where the next generation don't have this sort of adventurous spirit coached out of them. So yeah, it was just absolutely fantastic to see, and I think, you know, judging by the comments and social media and all the rest of it, I think everyone's very happy with what they saw in terms of the rugby. So just some results, guys. The Fidget Park Festival took place. Freda, nice win over there against President Steyn, 44-3. Maritzburg College, nice win against Foot Tracker Bethlehem, I believe, 35-16. Whoopstad Retief, very close game there, 19-18. Wittenberg, nice win over Louis Botha. Louis Botha has had some strong teams over the years, so nice win for Wittenberg there, 36-14. Landbou Derby in Anti-Saliers very comfortably, 45-7. And then Maritzburg having a nice win over Diamantfalt, 26 points to 8. Then there was a Battlefield tournament. You know, a lot of schools over there from the KZN region. A lot of them will sort of view this as warm-up / pre-season games. But Vryheid Landbou beat Lynn Park 33-0. DHS against Ferrum High 31-5. Kersney, nice winner against Sorrel Saliers, 48-15. Looking forward to seeing Kersney Centenary year this year. Their team was quite promising. Very interesting players there. Then a big one, guys. Paarl had a fantastic victory over Botha and Landbou. I've managed to see bits and pieces of the highlights, but Paarl are actually looking quite dangerous this year. I really like the look of their backline especially, and some very enterprising play. And Bishops having a nice win over Wynberg in a friendly 38 points to 21. Wynberg on paper looked very promising this year. Bishops, some thought might have been a bit of a young side, but they've played very well, I'm told. 38-21 victory over there. Player that I'm told that we should be watching out for is a youngster named Sherwood, who's playing as a centre. I'm hearing very good things about him, so looking forward to seeing him in live action. Marlow, big win over Graham. Now, I think Graham had 2 or 3 EPD players, so very nice win for the Craddock boys over there, 39 points to 12. And then I did manage to catch a bit of the Westville Northwood game, 31-19. Junior levels, Northwood are looking very good, guys. They're looking very dangerous. I think there's a big future in this rugby program. But in terms of the first team game, Westville were very inspiring, and Bryce Calvert, as expected, absolutely monstrous game. the kid is looking very, very good. I must say, he's looking very, very good. I know we've spoken about him a lot, but he's a real handful. He loves the physical side of the game. And then, obviously, well supported by the other stars in that Westville team. So, we'll talk a bit about the Monnas 100th Anniversary Festival. Now, considering how the whole thing started, to me, it was a massive success. I mean, you must remember, just 1 week before the tournament started, the original organisers didn't have a sponsor. Again, I don't know the full story. You know, with these things, there's always the organisers' side, the school side, and the truth. And, you know, everyone also has their version of the truth, and we don't want to get involved in the politics. But the fact on the table is that the original organisers pulled out a week before. Apparently, there was another company meant to be doing the filming as well. And the whole thing basically fell apart. It looked like it was going to be a disaster, and then the whole community came together, which is absolutely fantastic. And to me, it was amazing how the community came together. I mean, everyone from Krugersdorp and beyond pulled together very well to make this happen on such short notice. Now, the streams were done by DigiTV, and there were some teething problems, and there was a heck of a lot of complaints, guys. We haven't had schoolboy rugby for over 400 days. These guys come in and do a stream with a week's notice, and people are complaining. I mean, to me, you know, there's some quarters of this community that are just never going to be satisfied. These are the same idiots that send me messages non-stop in my inbox about their opinions on things and all the rest of it. And, you know, they're more than welcome to try and do their own things, and let's see if anyone values their opinions. But, geez, I mean, you know, really taken into consideration. I mean, remember, we're talking about grassroots rugby here. Not everything's going to run 100% smoothly, and I think, my personal opinion, I think they did a very good job. Yes, I was disappointed by not being able to view a couple of games, and, you know, the website did have a couple of problems and all the rest of it. But again, you know, 1 week before the festival, this is when this is the notice they had. So, yeah, I mean, I just think things should be put into perspective, really. Now, there was a bit of rust in terms of the play, but overall, I think the quality was very good, especially considering the guys haven't played for that long. And well done to Monnas, and a very happy birthday to the school. It's a proud institution. It's you know, one of the powerhouses of South African school rugby, and I just hope they have the best year ever. They really deserve it. So the first game was Janssen against Ben Vorster. Janssen won 31-15. I think the score flatters them a little bit. Now, you must remember that they were going to be they are one of my dark horses for the year, and there was aspects of their play that I thought to myself, like, I can see them actually doing very well this year. Ben Vorster really surprised me. They really, really played well. I mean, they don't deserve a score like this, and I think it was all about discipline. You know, the guys got, you know, sucked into the heat of the moment a lot. And there were some really silly mistakes, guys. Really, really silly mistakes. Ben Vorster are a much better team than the scoreline suggests. And Janssen, I think, are going to surprise quite a few people this year. In terms of the players that I liked Oosthuizen in that lock, you know, for Janssen. Groenewald as a loose forward looks like a monster. He looks like a really, really good player. Keegan Balfour, every time he got the ball, he looked like he was going to make something happen. He was an outstanding centre. And then Bernardi at fly-off, I think he was awarded man of the match as well. Very promising player. I wonder if he's related to Jacques Bernardi. He was a Bulls fly-off back in the day. And I don't know. To me, it's too much of a coincidence when I take a look at his style of play. I think to myself, this really reminds me of Jacques Bernardi. So who knows? Maybe if someone does know, they can sort of send me a message on Instagram or something. In terms of Ben Vorster, Grobler Teve, I thought were outstanding at props. Kleinans at 8th man looks like a very good prospect. Shulubane at fly-off, I really like his style of play. Distribution is great, it's on point. And Ramaloko at fullback, I think, is very, very underappreciated. I think there's going to be a lot of people talking about him this year. Forces, I think they're going to have a hell of a season if they can pull things together, but just have to maintain that discipline. You know, you need a leader in that group that's going to clip someone over the head and say, hey, listen, get your head sorted out over here, because I think Janssen on the day were 2 to 3 points maximum better than Ben Vorster. This scoreline is definitely not a fair reflection of the game, but I think Janssen are going to cause a couple of problems this year. I think they've got a good team. Okay, Menlo Park versus St. John's, 41-24 to Menlo Park. Very, very interesting game. You know, another game that the scoreline is not a really fair reflection on. I think St. John's were a lot better than the scoreline suggests. But Menlo, that forward pack, guys, is something else. I think they're going to cause a lot of headaches for people this year. Lock and Besadenhout, the props were immense. Smith at lock was also immense. Oosthuizen at loose forward is another player I really like. Thalbe and Overweg, they are very, very talented centres. I don't think they had it all their own way this game, but I'm keeping a very close eye on them. I think they're very, very interesting prospects. Then in terms of the St. John's team, Duplessis at loose forward was great. Forward at Flav looks like he's got some promise. Bull or Bule, however you pronounce it, at centre also looks quite promising. And then Ike Anagu, I think he's put down as a Mabopi or something like that on the match programs, but I know that he calls himself Ike Anagu. Guys, my word, this guy's something special. To me, he was like the breakout player of the tournament, honestly. He was outstanding. He's built like a brick. Well, it's a family channel, so a brick you-know-what house. And his running lines are extraordinary. He caused all sorts of problems. Now, Fab and Overweg are very, very high-level centres, and I mean, he caused them all sorts of problems. I think this is a player you need to keep a very, very close eye on this season, and in the future as well. He's carrying a hell of a lot of potential. I'm very excited to see how he develops. Next game, Huisvontain against Nelspruit, 33-17. I don't know quite how to read this. Like, was it a case of Huisvontain not performing up to level, or was it a case of Nelspruit being a lot better than we thought? I think we'll know the answer later in the season, but overall, what I would say is that Huisvontain are an absolutely amazing program. I think Nelspruit just surprised everyone. I think they'll surprise a lot more people this year. They look very good. They look very, very good in my opinion. I know there's been a couple of years, in the wilderness in terms of their performance on a national level, but these guys look like they can really compete on a national level. In terms of Huisvontain, Deacon Pretoria was outstanding. Now, Deacon is someone we did a video of beginning of last year on Instagram, I believe it was. And, I saw his style of play. I thought he was outstanding. I had him on the PAX 100 this year, and I thought he was still at Pretoria. And then when I started seeing the game, I was like, I know this kid. Deacon Pretoria, I 100% know him. He's a kid from Pretoria, and he was outstanding. Nothing gives me greater pleasure than seeing a prospect from a smaller school and thinking, I rate that guy, I think he's special, and then seeing him perform at this type of level. So he was fantastic today. Man of the match, really deserved it. Tansville Myman at prop, what's there left to say about Tansville? He's an absolute monster. I mean, this guy's definitely going to have all the big unions after him. Hunter Tennyson as well at lock, very, very strong player. Michael Damon at fullback, very interesting player, guys. Every time he gets a ball, he looks to make something happen. Very, very dangerous player. Very interesting as well. In terms of Nelspruit, Erasmus van Stel and Patte in the front row, I thought they were outstanding. I mean, Tansville and his teammates are, they don't stand back for anyone. And the fact that the Nelspruit front row really took them on says a lot. And then Christian Gates of Flav, I can't explain how much potential I think this guy has. I really think his distribution was absolutely outstanding. His kicking game was outstanding. He came out of nowhere as far as I'm concerned. Like, this is someone that just literally came out of nowhere. Like, I feel like a fool that I haven't heard of this guy before, because he literally stepped up to the plate like a few times I've seen. I think he's going to make a massive noise on the circuit this year. There's hardly a weak aspect of his game. I don't know if he just performed way above expectations, but if he continues on this level, there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be chasing down his signature, guys. He really looks like a special player, honestly. Next game, Affies against Noordkaap. Affies weren't looking the sharpest. And I think the thing is, Noordkaap did play their hearts out. I think they're going to be very dangerous in the central region this year. I think they're going to cause a few problems for their traditional rivals. And I think Affies just couldn't execute at the right times, but it's still very early stages of the season. Smith and Oosthuizen at loose forwards, I thought they were outstanding. Smith is a ball carrier of note. The guy doesn't play games. Very physical player. Nokia, I always have to mention him. He's got potential to go all the way in the game. Leighton Horn, I thought was outstanding as well. Very interesting scrum off. Then in terms of the Noordkaap team, Daniels of Flav I thought was really good. Computer at wing and Lawrence at eighth man. Those are the players that stood out a bit for me. So 19-7, I think people would have expected a bit more of a margin, but it wasn't a terrible game to watch, but you could see that both sides were a little bit rusty, and Noordkaap really got in the face of it. And I think as time went on, they got more confident of starving Affies of possession and the ability to put points on the board. Then Milnerton against Northcliff. I mean, Milnerton absolutely decimated them. There's no other way to put it. I've got a rule on this channel since I started doing my posting more regular that I wouldn't talk negatively about any team or any player. And I'm not talking negative about it, but they were just outclassed today. I think even the coaching staff and the players would agree it was just outclassed. I think Milnerton were outstanding in virtually every department. In terms of the players, I really like the look of Abrahams at scrum off. Komgolo at wing really looks interesting. He looks like a very, very interesting prospect, as does Kwezaba at fullback. That backline is going to cause a lot of problems this year, I think. And then for Northcliff, the hooker Krauser, I believe it was, I mean, he looked quite promising. But everyone else, I think they'll learn a lot from this game, and I think they'll agree that it wasn't their finest performance. And whatever happens, it's about enjoying the game and growing in the game and taking on the challenges. And this was a challenge. Unfortunately, it was just a challenge too far for the guys from Joburg. Next up, this was a shocker, guys. I just couldn't believe it. Unfortunately, my internet wasn't working very well in this game, so I only caught bits and pieces. But what I did see, Rustenburg looked fantastic, eh? They really, I mean, Storm van Plaster, Taker Bouwson, wow, what a game, 4 tries. He looks like a natural. I mean, he looks like a very, very interesting player. Moabi at Flav also looks the part. Great distribution. Him and Grobler as a halfback pairing look like something special. And then obviously, the foundation's always built at the front in these games. And Meyer, Pieterse and Van Niekerk as a front row combination look outstanding. Keep a very close eye on Pieterse, guys. He looks like a player that could make some big things happen. In terms of Pretoria boys, I think they'll be very disappointed with the result, but I think they were probably equally as shocked as we all are by the result. I think Rustenburg played, a lot better than people would have expected. They're not a blue chip or traditional powerhouse, but they played like they were. Honestly, they were fantastic. And Pretoria boys looked a bit shell-shocked, but I saw glimmers of hope. Kolesa and Rolofse centered wing, and then Latila Matseliza at loose forward. He looks very, very promising, guys. I think he's got a very big future in the game as well. Played his heart out. Great kid. I've managed to speak to him on Instagram a few times. Very down-to-earth guy, very good kid. And, I think Pretoria boys will need to build their program for next year around them. I think they'll come back. They are a proud school with a lot of tradition, but I don't think they were prepared for the onslaught that Rustenburg were going to bring to the party today. I don't think many people were, to be fair. Then we had Outeniqua against Noordkaap, a very interesting game, but unfortunately, again, I had internet issues. Don't know what's going on over here. And from what I did see, I like the look of Westhuizen and Leonard at centres, Swart at hooker and Michaels at wing. It's unfair to, for me it's a bit unfair to sort of pinpoint exactly the players that are rated in the forwards, because the forward pack were absolutely demonic today. There's no other way to describe it. They were literally demons today. Absolutely dominated it. And there was a couple of mistakes because they're still a bit rusty, obviously. But there's 3 or 4 tries they left in the field that game. So I think with respect, Noordkaap played very well. They played their hearts out. I think it's a rugby program on the rise. I've got a lot of respect for this rugby program. But I think this score is a bit flattering to Noordkaap, with all due respect to Noordkaap. I'm not trying to speak negatively. I just think people are going to be surprised by Outeniqua this year. I think they're an unknown quantity. Also keep a very close eye on I haven't mentioned him yet, Kurz, the lock. He looks like a very, very interesting prospect. Next up, we have Stellenberg against Outeniqua, and I think a lot of people were surprised by this result as well. Stellenberg actually made it look pretty easy. Outeniqua made some very, very basic mistakes. I think they're a lot better than, as a team, they're a lot better than how they played. I think they'll grow as the season comes along. In terms of Stellenberg, Damian Marcus, what a player. What an exceptional player. This guy is absolutely packed with talent. I think the EPD Saru guys are looking like they look like they got a bit of egg on their face by not inviting him to the camp. He really, I mean, he's one of the best centres in the country. I have no idea how he didn't get invited to their camp. But after the performance I saw of him, if he's not invited to a Saru EPD camp this year, there's something wrong with the selectors, with all due respect. Him and Jacobus as a partnership are going to do some real damage this year. January at fullback looked absolutely amazing. I really like the look of Smoke at fly-off, and Fontaine at lock also looks like a promising prospect. Help Makar, Tonga and Botha wasn't a starter, but as soon as he came on the field, I feel that he added a more dynamic approach to the game. Ferreira at scrum, he does look promising, and Nathan Leonis at loose forward, I think he's an outstanding player, outstanding leader, and I think he's going to be a key player in the team this year, and he's going to have to inspire his troops to come back from a result like this. I think they would have expected better of themselves, but that Stellenberg backline, guys, they're going to be trouble this year. I mean, just keep a close eye on Damian Marcus. He's extraordinary. Then Paarl Boys versus Welkom Gym. This is one where I don't think the scoreline is a fair reflection on the game in one sense, but in another sense you feel like it's a very fair reflection on the game. It's a very strange one. So Paarl Boys started the game like a house on fire. They were absolutely outstanding in every department of the game. They quickly ran into a lead, 22 points to 0, I believe it was, and they looked like a steam train, like nothing was going to stop them. Then Welkom Gym basically sucked them into their style of game, throwing around the ball, not being organised, not being structured, playing off instinct, and they scored 3 very quick tries, so it was 22-21. And then Paarl Boys, under the leadership of Luca Ribbons and obviously Abu as well, they basically said, right guys, let's calm down, let's play to our strengths, let's play to our structure, and boy did they. After that, it just looked easy. This is definitely a team to watch. They were absolutely outstanding today. Compion from Ludwig, there were some outstanding performances, but in terms of fly-off, he has to be the number one fly-off prospect in the country right now. He was outstanding. He just made it look easy. His running game's fantastic. Now, you will point and say, like, okay, well, his kicking game wasn't outstanding. I mean, his goal kicking. Guys, they did not make it easy for him. I mean, he didn't have many easy shots on target, though, so you got to remember that as well. But he's going to be a points machine this year. Absolutely no doubt about it. Ruan Fent at lock. This is another guy that we did a video on at the start of last year from Sutherland. And the rest is history. A hat-trick on debut. Absolutely amazing. Abu and Dabambi just caused all sorts of problems in the game. Then Smith at centre. I mean, Keegan's an outstanding player. We all know that. He proved it on the field again. Jared Reese at fullback. I really like the look of this guy. He's always looking for actions, always looking to make something happen. And then Ethan Isaacs at wing. I mean, this guy's a very underappreciated player, I believe. He's got absolutely lightning quick pace, great at linking up with the back line. I think someone that we need to keep a close eye on as well. In terms of Welkom Gym, Benny Himmer looks outstanding. I mean, he really did look outstanding today. Very special player, I think. Testimony Dodo and Kino Alexander, the centre pairing, I think they're going to cause all sorts of problems this year. And then Calapino, a giant old school Free State loose forward, and I think he's definitely going to cause some issues for opposition teams. 59-21, but I don't think it's a very fair reflection of Welkom Gym as a team. I think they are going to climb up the rankings this year, and they're going to surprise a lot of teams. But Paarl Boys, they remind me a lot of the Grey College team of 2019, guys. That whole game where you don't play the perfect game, but you still put scores like this on the board. It's just outstanding talents everywhere on that field, and the performance was there. I mean, outstanding team, and one has to consider them as one of the front runners for being unofficial national champions this year. If you can play at like that sort of level, and still look, they were still missing Hakim Kunene and Hanno Wessels. Those are two SA Schools quality players, so you can understand they've got depth as well. And there's some rookies over there, De Jong, Fick, those type of guys, Jean Small, that are waiting in the wings, so to speak. So there's a lot of depth. Paarl Rugby is looking very, very good at the moment. Okay, then the game everyone's waiting for me to talk about, obviously. Grey College versus Poldrum. Grey College's first loss since 2017. I mean, that's crazy to think. And, in the season preview video that we did, there's a feeling that it might just be 1 year too early for Poldrum because they got an extremely talented group of under-17s. This wasn't the case. And it's very hard to pinpoint what went right and what went wrong in a way. I mean, it'll take a very long video to go into full details. But in terms of an overview, I think Grey College made some very basic mistakes. Look, the thing is that the guys haven't played for a while. They're working under a new coach, maybe a new system, I don't know. But the line-out work just wasn't there. Clearing out the rucks, arriving at the breakdown in time, trying to disturb, the fetches from the other team. That wasn't up to the normal grey level, the mobility, so to speak. And I think the Poldrum defence was immense. I don't think I've ever seen a school rugby performance like that in terms of defence. They were absolutely outstanding. They wouldn't let anybody get past them. It really was a team effort by Poldrum, and they've got some amazing talent over there. And what's scary is that a lot of this talent are going to be available next year as well. And like I said to you, Poldrum next year are going to be something out of this world. And these guys, a lot of these under-17s this year have never tasted defeat at high school level, and they weren't going to let that happen today. In terms of Grey College, I thought Maverick Olivier Lock was outstanding. I thought Niels at 8th man, he had a few hiccups and all the rest of it, but overall I think he was outstanding on the field. He's a great lead and a great player. I really like the look of Diego Lottering as well. I just think if he was given a bit more space, he could have made some magic happen. But the Poldrum defence was just on another level. And then also at prop, I thought he was great as well. I thought he played very well. But it just wasn't meant to be for the Grey Boys. Actually, at one stage when I was chatting to someone on WhatsApp about this game, I said I predicted it to be an 18-18 score after half time. And if you got that kick over, it would have been the case. But unfortunately, the kick was missed. Another player from Grey College that you guys have to keep an eye on is Caleb Abrahams. I forgot his name on here. I don't know why. But I can't speak highly enough about this young talent. The thing is that he wasn't playing behind a dominant forward pack, so he wasn't able to get quality ball to recycle. But he was still all over the field, and I think he's an outstanding player, absolutely outstanding player, and he's got a massive future in the game. He did score a try for Grey, and I think there'll be many more that come this season. But really keep a close eye on Caleb Abrahams, guys. He's such an amazing prospect and such a hard worker. I think Grey are going to come back from this stronger. Then Poldrum, another player I left out was their scrum half, Michael Koch. I thought he was outstanding. He supplied great ball to Liam Kuhn at fly-off. Liam is an amazing talent, guys. What a game this kid had. That left boot is something else. I mean, he's got a massive boot, and he's cool, calm, collected. He's extremely big for a fly-off. He's a big kid, and he's under 17. I just think his all-round play was absolutely outstanding. He's such an amazing prospect. You can see Dad spent a hell of a lot of time with him in the garden, kicking the ball around. And then Van Niekerk at centre was outstanding. I mean, how many turnovers did that guy get involved in? Philip Albert, I believe his name is. I think he's under 17 as well. It's scary. Then Janelle Lospo at fullback. Every time he got the ball, looking to make things like problems for his opposition. Luca Bakkers at Lucy was outstanding on defence, always competing for the ball. He really looks like something special. And then I have to give it up for the tight five: Lavanya, Lombard, Dosreis, Dutoy, and Sibahochen. They were outstanding. The great tight five are highly rated in the country and for good reason. And these guys never stood back for a second. I know I should be mentioning more guys from Poldrum, and I appreciate that, but it's I think it was a team effort, guys. I think all 15 players on the pitch played their hearts out. But those were the guys that I'm just saying, not only did they perform well in this game, but I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on them, and I think you should be keeping an eye on them in the future. This is a very, very talented group, and to beat Grey College, score with a 90% win rate. So only lose 1 out of every 10 games, and this is one of those games. So these boys will remember this for the rest of their lives, and they deserve it. They played their hearts out. And Grey College were very unlucky. But Paarl Jim, what a well-coached team. Peter Rousseau, sir, take a bow. You and your team have done extraordinarily well. Let's just hope they keep up the momentum as the season goes along. Then the final game was Monument versus Drostdy. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch a lot of this game. I had internet problems, and then for some reason the stream cut out. When I left the game, Monument were absolutely dominating, then Drostdy made a hell of a comeback. So the final score was 28-26. From what I did see, the players that I liked from Monnas was Bessinger at prop. He's the captain. Jan Hendrik is an absolute monster. Vandenberg, fantastic centre. Vessels at 8th man looks something special, guys. Keep a very close eye on him. And then in terms of Drostdy, Besson, Brits and Solomons all look very, very promising as well. I wish I could speak more about it, but I just didn't see enough of the game. But I think Drostdy going to have a very interesting year this year. And Monna's 100-year anniversary, so no pressure, boys. So I know it's early, guys. I know it's very early, but I've already got a lot of emails and questions about who I think the top teams are. So don't read into this at all. This is going to change a heck of a lot over the next couple of weeks. But I just thought why not, for a bit of fun. Let's start with the top 10. So far from what I've seen, 10th place, I'll go with the Westville boys. I think it remains to be seen how strong the program is. In terms of Northwood, I know junior structures are looking good. I'm talking about the senior structures. Westville didn't play the rugby that they were necessarily capable of playing. So I'd say they're probably playing at 70% instead of 100%. I think when they fire on all the cylinders, they'll be very dangerous. Just another caveat, guys. In terms of this top 10, you must remember a lot of the teams that will be included in the top 10, without doubt, teams like Oakdale, haven't even played a game yet. Oakdale, Hilton, Glenwood, a lot of schools haven't even played a game yet. So, like I said, don't take this too seriously. But, I just had too many requests, I couldn't ignore it. Okay, 9th place. Bishops, I think they look good. Wynberg this year looked like a good team on paper. You got Ben Curry there. That looks like a very promising player. Ebenezer's over there, Sangster's over there, so they look promising. And from what I heard, I never got a chance to see the game. Bishops played some very, very entertaining and very inspiring rugby, and they're a dark horse for me this year. So let's see how they perform, if they can continue on that level. Definitely want to see them. I've heard good things about Sherwood, Suleiman we know about, Khan we know about, the Cock we know about. I want to see those other hidden gems, because I believe every year at Bishops there are hidden gems. 8th place. I'll go with Menlo Park. I think the scoreboard did flatter them a bit against St. John's. St. John's were a lot better than that, but at the same time, Menlo Park were very good. I think the forward pack is going to cause all sorts of problems. If the backline can get firing, they're definitely going to cause a couple of problems for other teams this year. 7th place, I would go with Monument. Look, from what I saw of them, I would have put them as a top 5 team in the first half. Second half, I didn't see the game, so I didn't see enough of it to actually comment. But some people that I've trusted have said they fell off a bit. They've got a bit of work to do, etc., etc. So we'll see. But so far, let's go with 7th place so far. Let's just say that. 6th place, Affies, very, very complex game against Noordkaap. Very difficult to read into it, but in terms of the team on paper, they look very promising, look like a very good outfit. So we'll go 6th place for them in the meantime. Next week they could, perform very well and get into a top 3 position. You don't know, but, this is just purely opinion-based. This is not science-based at all. Then 5th place, Huisvontain, another team that looked very good. And I think later on in this year, we'll see, was it a case of Huisvontain not playing to their full potential, or are Nelspruit as good as we all think they are? I've got a feeling it's the latter. I think Huisvontain could climb up the rankings later on in the year. We'll see if that happens. 4th place, Porus. It's another case of you don't know if Botha and Landbou are a bit weaker than normal this year, or they're equally as strong, or is it Porus that were fantastic? I wasn't able to see a lot of the game, but from what I did see, Porus are definitely looking dangerous, guys. They look like a very good outfit this year. I didn't have them as a challenger, but I think perhaps they could be a challenger this year. I'm always happy to be wrong. You guys know that. 3rd place, I'll go with Grey College for now. I think this must be the first ever rankings I've done in my life. Well, not my life, well, the life of this channel, where Grey College haven't been number 1. So it's very odd to see Grey College out of 1st place. But, very unlucky loss against Poldrum, or was it unlucky? I mean, Poldrum played their heart out, so, it's very difficult to say, very early days, and we'll see what happens. Second place, I've got Poldrum, and I know, yes, they beat Grey College, first loss since 2017, they were outstanding, but I don't know, guys, you guys need to watch the Paarl boys game and give me your opinion. Maybe I'm seeing something over here, but that you guys aren't seeing, but I thought Poldrum were outstanding, but Paarl boys were just on another level. They were very special this game, and you know what, to be honest with you, in fairness, I should make it equal ranked number one, so we could consider that as well. There's not a lot to choose between these two, and my word, is it going to be an interesting inter-schools at the end of this year. That's going to be a massive game. I mean, it always is a massive game, but these two teams look like the front runners of South African school rugby this year, so it's definitely going to be fascinating. Okay, thanks a lot for taking the time to watch, guys, this first update. Let me know about what your guys' thoughts and opinions are in terms of the rankings, all the rest of it. Remember, a lot of teams haven't played. What players do you think I missed out on in terms of the matches that were watched? And what players are on your hot list? Discuss in the comment section down below. As always, don't forget to click that subscribe button as well as bell notification. Smash the like button as well. Give it a like for us. That really does help us with the YouTube algorithm. And as always, have a fantastic week further. Cheers. Bye.